Welcome back to another OpenClaw Boot Camp. This is episode 5, and this is the last of our free mini series. A little spoiler, I do plan on doing a follow-up live stream or two where we kind of recap the entire series. I just want to thank everybody for tuning into this, whether it's live or... This is episode 5. That's my bad. Should have muted that tab. That's my checker to make sure we're live. I should have, that process dialed in by now, but without squirrel ado, let's dig into it, shall we? So how's everyone doing today? I'm going to wait for chat to fill up. Sorry for starting a few minutes late today. Pre-stream espresso. Oh man, what a learning experience this has been. I gotta say, so I want to start off with just like a brief kind of recap of initial thoughts about the bootcamp. I realized this, over the past 7 days that I definitely realized this early on, but I think doing a sprint would have been a better idea, right? Not only for you, but also this week in between working on Goat OS is really annoying to me. Because we discover bugs, we discover things along the way that I can't fix off air because I want to show you the entire process. I want to show you what works, what breaks, how I fix it, right? Whereas if we just did a sprint and I chose Monday through Friday to do the boot camp, now the scheduling was the reason, everything on my plate was the main reason for this. But also, I thought initially that giving you homework each week would have been awesome, but I'm starting to realize for future boot camps, I think what we're going to start doing is doing sprints where I pick a 5 to 7 day window and we just go hard every single day at it. I'd love to know in the chat whether you're watching this live or watching the recording, if you would prefer that format more. Let's mute that tab, make sure we're good to go here. Yo, what's up, Danny? Welcome back. How you doing today? Good to see you here. It's going well. It's going well. I cannot complain. I closed out a project that was due by end of month. It's going to free up a lot of my time this coming month. I do have another project plan that's kickstarting here next week. So all is well. All is well. And got this pre-stream espresso, so I can't complain, Let's go, Slinger! Welcome back, man. With the time zone change, it's still 2 a.m. for you, right? When you're starting to tune in? Man, I just got to say thank you for being here. Thank you for waking up in the middle of the night to come watch this live stream. That's wild. That's dedication right there. Let's go! I want to pronounce this Nia. Hey, let's go. Thank you. Hey, and I hope you find some value in this boot camp. So the boot camp, the main focus was always just to show you the start to finish. No pre-production, no post edits, no cutting out the dead space of like figuring things out together, right? Let's go. What's up, Gabizzy? Welcome back. I wish I could tell you, but I don't really speak on client work. Just know that it's an internal system for one of my clients. That's all I can really say. Right on. Hey, 11 p.m. for you. So where are you? Are you in Thailand, if I remember correctly? Thailand makes sense. It's 6 hours ahead, if I'm not mistaken, from here. So thank you for tuning in so late at night. I'm not sure what your sleep schedule is like. Mine's been kind of crazy. I am excited to get back to the Pacific time zone just for the sake of having like normal mornings again. Yeah, and any questions you have, I'll do my best to answer them, in the comments. And for anybody who's trying to comment right now who can't comment, for these boot camps, I set it so only subscribers can comment on the live stream. I didn't get too strict with it. You have to be subscribed to the channel for at least an hour. So I really want to focus answering questions and interacting with the community who's actually supporting the channel and not just here watching, not subscribed. So if you want to drop a comment, if you want answers to your questions during this live stream, well, you got to subscribe. I mean, listen, I'm doing this for free, so do the things that you can do for free to support me, which is a simple subscribe, smash the like button, share this with a friend. Oh, right on. So Austin, Texas, that would make it either noon or 11 a.m., if I'm not mistaken. Right on, yeah. I remember, you know, sometimes things slip through the cracks, but I try to remember profile pictures and where people are from. Hey, thank you. And I gotta say, man, you were still the first and I believe the only one to show off your rebuild from the boot camp in the Discord. And I gotta say, I love what you're doing. I'm excited to see what it turns into. So keep sharing. And I think that, you know, with this new, because my OpenClaw and all the demos I create and everything I do revolves primarily around Anthropic, I do not like this new peak window usage. So right now we're in peak window. I made sure for this demo account to not use it as much. I think we're using, let's see, we're at 7% on the 5-hour window. So hopefully this crazy usage doesn't cause us to kind of end this bootcamp abruptly today. But I think I'm going to start having to reschedule these live streams outside of those peak hours because it's inconvenient and it's unnecessary. Like, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. So we'll get started with the bootcamp shortly. I just want to, you know, do a little Q&A, vibe with the community here. Wow, 17 of you watching? Thank you. Do me a favor, all 17 of you. I see 6 likes. Let's pump that up another 11 likes, and then we'll get started with the episode. Nice. Yeah, I rounded down, but cool. Right on. Well, good morning to you. Almost good afternoon. I'm not gonna lie, I've taken a ton of ideas from you or Bootcamp in your videos, but I haven't implemented them verbatim. Listen, you're taking that first step, right? You're consuming, you're learning. I think you're gonna get to that point where you're gonna start going down rabbit holes with everything that you've learned and everything that you've seen. And don't just like, I appreciate you for being here. I say get ideas from as many people as you can. Watch as many OpenClaw videos as you can that you think are bringing value to you. And then just combine all that knowledge and start building. I don't have much experience with it right now, so I can't speak to it. I've heard people, you know, having a great experience using OpenRouter. So I wish I can speak to it more. Just watch your thought process and came for community and maybe to ask some good dumb questions. Hey, you know the rule around here. There's no such thing as a dumb question. The only dumb question is a question that you don't ask. So ask away. Ask away, please. OpenClaw is bigger than electricity. People don't see it yet. Ooh, that's bold. I love that. Oh man, that's bold. We're gonna have to come back to that in the future. Hey, thank you, Brandon. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Right on. OC through your phone? Okay. Are you using one of those one-click install solutions, or are you managing your OC setup through your phone? Very curious. And you know, I'm sure this exists. Maybe I've just been kind of like in my own world with my schedule. Now that the schedule's freeing up here, I can explore more, but I've started setting up a Hermes agent. Videos coming soon. I don't want to rush those videos, okay? I know I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot by waiting to release any videos related to Hermes, but I like testing things before I make videos around them. I think logically, given the you know, the focus on this channel is showing you how to do things. I think the first video is going to be how to set it up, how to get it rolling, right? And then the second video, I'm going to compare OpenClaw to Hermes. But then more importantly, I want to do videos around connecting the two together. So yeah, coming soon. You can optimize the usage by doing this. Let me copy and paste. I'm only allowed one like. Hey, I appreciate you. OpenRouter is the only way. Hey, we'll look into it. Yeah, that's funny. I haven't gotten to your comment yet. Yes, I have. I've been playing with it. I'm being very quiet about it right now. Like I said, I don't like rushing videos out there just for the sake of it trending. I'd rather test it thoroughly before I make any videos related to anything, really. Yeah, I heard about that. A lot of people posting about this, a lot of videos about this. No, so this is listen, I'm gonna push back on you here. This is actually a myth. I don't know who's telling you this, but Peter, the founder of OpenClaw, still uses his Claude Max subscriptions for his agent. So that should tell you something right there. And then the fact that that setup token is still allowed in the onboarding shows that it is technically not banned. I don't know who's misleading you here. But I will say this about Anthropic. They're so vague. Please proceed with caution, because one day they can turn and then make that announcement. So proceed with caution. I'm using a dummy account for OpenClaw. I don't care if it gets banned. Just proceed with caution is all I'm saying there. Hey, welcome. Thank you, Gigi, or G Gig. I'm just gonna call you Gig. I thought there was an I at the end of that. Let's go. I appreciate you. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks for being here. There are no stupid questions to stupid people. Of course he said, just kidding. Yeah. Listen, I'm an advocate for just asking questions. No matter whether or not you think it's smart or dumb. It's like, yeah, if you don't ask, you don't know, right? That's how it should be. That's how it should be. Yo, what's up, Ranglatang? I want to say thank you. I work for a small confirmed consulting firm. Last week, I showed the MD my OC and how it can help internal client work. Yesterday, I signed a contract to be the technology director. Congrats. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, nice. All right, let's see how many likes we're at. Do we start the episode yet, or do we hold this hostage? Okay, we're at 15 and 20 of you watching. All we need is 5 more. That's it. All we need is 5 more. That's not difficult. 5. For episode 5. 5 more likes. Come on now. Yeah, so listen, I want to preface, right? Like, that information's misleading, period. The fact the founder's still using it shows it's not banned. However, I want to reiterate, Anthropic is so vague, right? They could turn at any moment. So just proceed with caution, please. That's all I ask, right? Don't just blindly follow people's advice and what people are saying. I'm sure their intentions are good when they create videos or promote, you know, this is banned, that's banned. But at the end of the day, the facts don't line up there. So yeah, congrats, Ranglatang. Let's go. What's the sauce? The API bill is more expensive than Wagyu beef. I don't think you're supposed to eat Wagyu beef with sauce. I feel like the juiciness of it. Listen, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I had to mute the mic there so you didn't hear that. All right. All fun. I'm not going to hold the episode hostage. We're going to get started here. 16's good enough for me. All right. So what's the plan for today? We're going to recap the last week, of course. Last week was a big one. But today is super light, right? It's going to be mostly Q&A. We're mostly going to wire things together. We're going to fine tune the UI and just answer questions. That's the best we can do, right? I think we covered so much those first 4 episodes where it's now about just fine tuning things. So let's go take a look first off at the stand-ups. Okay, so they didn't work flawlessly. Looks like today's stand-up did not kick off. I know we had an issue with, no, the time's correct. Interesting. We're gonna have to talk to it. I mean, the stand-ups the past few days have been working. Let's go into Saturday. It looks like Friday it had an error. It did not work. Thursday, it had this weird error, which it looks like it fixed itself on Saturday, where it started showing the transcript itself. I don't like this markdown render, or rather this like markdown file output. right? We should be able to read this as if it's a markdown render, like Obsidian, for example, like a document. Okay, so listen, it hasn't been perfect since we incorporated the stand-ups. We've had 1, 2, 3 days that failed. So let's talk to Goat and figure out what happened. Let's try to understand this, right? When things don't work, you don't just say, screw this, right? This doesn't work. No, you gain an understanding of your system. You talk to your agent and figure out what happened. Why did it not work? Hey, Goat. So I'm trying to understand. Looks like our stand-ups on Thursday, it said see workspaces, check out this markdown file. Friday, it didn't work. Saturday, we started to see the transcript. However, we're seeing the transcript in a raw, like when I'm viewing it, the conversation tab, it's like the raw format. It's not a markdown render friendly document or like, text box. Starting the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. And then it failed again today, this morning. What happened? Why did that fail on Friday and today? And then let's go check out the build logs. Let's see if we've been self-improving. We have been self-improving the whole time. Wonderful. Okay. Looks like we actually did have a failure. We're missing self-improvement on March 25th. 26th is good. Love it, love it. Memory viewer search, lab dashboard insights, chat live status, Foundry pipeline card. Let's go to prototypes. Let's check recent. 14 hours ago. I think by default, the Foundry should always show the most recent prototype built. I don't like how it defaults to score. I want to default to the date sort. So we always see the most recent one. But I'm also seeing an issue with the preview is it's refusing to connect. So something's going on to where that web server, that dev server is not being spun up for that prototype. Looks like the past 2, the past 3. We ran into this issue last week as well, so I want you to dig a little deeper. Don't just fix it. Figure out why it's not working and what you're going to do to fix it moving forward to make sure that these previews are always working. Now, keep in mind that this is the last episode of our bootcamp, so I'm going to start working on this daily. So I'm not going to wait a week between troubleshooting and discovering that things aren't working properly. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, let's go check the PM board to see. Looks like things have been completing. Wow, that's a big list. Now, I remember asking you when something's complete, if I click on that module, I should be able to click through to see what was done. But all I see is just notes that it was done. I don't really see a link. Okay, I see a link here. For example, deliver Clearmud client profile. However, when I click that markdown file, nothing happens. So Clearmud client profile delivered to path.md, comprehensive profile covering company overview, contact info, founder background, etc. This is great, right? But there's no proof of work. I can't click the deliverable because there's no deliverable path set, and there's also no way to preview that deliverable. So we got to improve this part of our automation. I mean, it looks like you've been working, but I need proof. All right, that was a big one. That was a big brain dump, right? We're just going through everything. And I'm just raw, like we're just vibing with our agent. And this is what I recommend everybody do. Now, I don't recommend everybody wait a week between things like we have with this bootcamp. As I mentioned, my learnings with hosting this, it's like we're going to do sprints moving forward where we're not waiting a week between episodes because, you know, not only does that like hinder progress, but this industry moves so quickly that waiting 5 weeks to complete a bootcamp is just, it's just not right. It doesn't feel right to me. So, but as I mentioned, this is the first of many. This was a learning experience. So I know there's a lot of value in this one. I hope you found some value in this one. But any constructive feedback on how to improve, any notes that you have, please drop them in the comments. I read every single one of them, and we'll make sure we improve moving forward. And how do you guys like this background music? I steered away from that that YouTube, the 12-hour lo-fi jam that I've been playing nonstop, and we started creating our own playlist on Monday and Friday live streams through producer.ai. And I gotta say, I love the background music. I love it. And we'll, while that's working, let's tackle some comments, shall we? One thing I've started to work on is token optimization. I'm on max 5x, and I wake up in the morning and I'm at 100% session. Maybe a good topic to cover in the future video. Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I think, right, like this new peak hours is something to talk about in that video as well. I've already transitioned, rather rescheduled a lot of my crons for Clearmud operations, Muddy OS and Clearmud OS, to operate outside of peak hours now. Because I did have a lot of crons operating in the middle, right, in that time window. And I was noticing as well, like I would log on and I'd be listening to the executive sync or doing this and that, and I would notice that my usage, like there was so much consumed, but that was all through the crons because they were scheduled within that window. So I think step one, before I release that video, one thing you can do in the meantime, I'm not saying don't operate in the peak hour window. Sometimes you have to, right? But all of your schedules, right? Like do your best to move those crons outside of that window first to help mitigate that. I think your OpenClaw animations need their own Saturday morning cartoon. I want Marcelo in there chasing them. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. A little teaser, you know, we're going to set a new schedule for this channel. I'm thinking of only live streaming 2 days a week. However, we're going to start posting 3 long forms a week. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards because I'm having this desire, this itch to make more long form content. This is just me thinking out loud. I'd love to hear your feedback, right? Hey, Chris, thanks for tuning in. So Muddy OS is my personal OS. There's no links to that, right? That's not a code base I'm handing out. This bootcamp that you're attending right now, I started out of the popularity and demand for Muddy OS, where I thought, what if I rebuild it from scratch? It looks a little different, obviously, but the core functionality of how I built Muddy OS, I built here in Goat OS as well, right? So I show you from episode 1 to episode 5, just the raw. These are live, right? And these will live on YouTube forever. So maybe in the future we release Muddy OS. Listen, I have no intention on doing it because that's for me, right? And yeah, that's just where it's at right now. So thanks for the comment. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for subbing. 3 quick fixes: pause or slow your heartbeat interval during off hours. Love it, love it. Align your times, cache retention, Anthropic side default 5 minutes, and context pruning. Hey, Fluey with the alpha here. Great feedback here. Great tips, great advice. Yeah, so all my heartbeats are on the cheapest model possible. They're either on Gemini 3 Flash or Claude's Haiku. Okay, I'm gonna have to screenshot it. Hey, Muddy, when you're reviewing this transcript, I want you to look over the comments as well. And I want to say Fluey, F-L-I-U, has some great notes in here. Dude, he's killing it. He's killing it with the advice. All right, Goat's taking his sweet time. So we're just waiting at this point. But hey, I want to go back to this one. Thank you. Muddy OS is something I've spent, I like maybe 200 hours on at this point. It is, it's my baby, right? And it handles all operations for Clearmud. And I also have Clearmud OS, which is my content kind of sweet. I might be merging the two at some point, but yeah, it's been solid. I've been loving it. I'm just thrilled with it. I'm very happy with it. Yeah, Ranglatang's right here. Thanks, Fluey. And I hope I'm saying that right. If you give me your name, I'll remember it. But I'm just going to call you Fluey until then. All right, let's first vibe through what we discovered this past week. And let's just go to the main chat. And you can see he's working here, so I'm just going to patiently wait. Felix, right on. I won't forget that one. That reminds me of, wasn't there a cartoon, Felix the Cat? Right on, Fluey, AKA Felix, AKA Fluey. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the knowledge, sharing that knowledge. That's what community is all about, right? All right, let's go review what it found here. Got it. That's a solid list of issues. Let me dig into everything before I start delegating fixes, breaking this down. Stand-up failures, why Friday and today failed. Prototype previews, why dev servers aren't spinning up. Recurring, Foundry default sort, date instead of score. PM board proof of work. Deliverable links need to actually work. Let me pull up the logs. Okay. Scheduler is stuck. Interesting. And just for chat, like sometimes what I also do is I do brain dumps where I hit my voice to text record and I just kind of start reading through it. And then I give certain notes as far as like, okay, well, we need to put a solution in place to make sure that if the schedule, like a detector to see if the schedule is stuck, that way we can fix it, right? Before it gets to my, my attention here. All right. Let's see. I'm just going to give you a brain dump here and go through. I mean, 1 through 4 looks good. One note I have about this scheduler is stuck, 780 minutes overdue, is what can we put in place to detect that, right? So that I don't have to detect it, that the system self-detects and self-fixes. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions here. Let me know if you need anything from me to pull this off. But first off, let me know what you implement, whether it's another cron, whatever the case, like break it down to me. I already started the gateway to fix it. Today's stand-up work sessions, the same issue that killed Friday. Schedule stalled. Okay. Breakdown of everything. Yeah. Additionally, those transcripts, I think I mentioned it in the past prompt. So stand-ups actually ran fine, but the conversation tab shows raw markdown. Because the parser only splits on agent name headers, then treats status and blocker, bullet points, and bold text as plain text lines. They never render as markdown. Interesting. Schedule stall killed everything. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I have no notes. Everything looks good. Yeah, today's episode is all about wiring and fine-tuning, right? So we're going to fine-tune the UI, make sure everything's wired together. We might add a new fun feature or two. But let me know if you have any questions. And ping me when all this work's complete. Gateway is draining for restart. Interesting. What is going on there? Let's go check that VM. I mean, it's online. I wonder if it was just rebooting itself. Nope. Let's do an OpenClaw gateway restart real quick. Taking a while to restart. There should be some OpenClaw updates as well. One thing I don't personally do is I don't chase every new update. I generally like to wait a few updates before updating. If anybody's curious about that. Okay, it's back. Okay. Yeah, so one thing, I think I need to fine tune OBS, but this video capture card I'm using for these live streams are limited at 1080p. So on my list when I get back to my studio is I'm gonna be ordering a 4K video capture card. So that should resolve that issue. Now, I did take the liberty of like going to past boot camps to watch them after YouTube post-processes it, and it looks good enough, but I know it's not as crisp as it could be. So I'm wondering if this live stream is limited by that video capture card. So that's on my list. Thank you for the feedback. It's a bummer. It's nothing I can do in the immediate short term, right? So, but it's on my list. It's on top of my list for future live streams for sure. And the camera I'm doing this on is actually a photography focused camera. So I am going to be trading this in. This is not a paid advertisement, but I love MPB, I think. It's it's across pretty much every country, and you can just sell back your photography equipment / videography equipment or trade it in for different cameras. I want to trade it in for a video focused camera. So I just need to do that when I get back to the States. And then I'm not going to keep running into certain issues that I have with this camera that I've discovered since starting this channel and taking less photos than I've ever taken before. Nemotron 3 Nano, interesting. I love it when community drops just little notes. Somebody, one or two of you dropped Hermes in the chat in comments over the past 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what led me to look into it before these videos started coming out from other creators that you probably know of. So shout out to dropping these notes. Like I do look into these things. Do I dig into them and spend, as much time as I have with OpenClaw? Not out the gate, but if it piques my interest, I dig in. Okay, I've got everything I need. Here's the plan. Okay. So it's working. Let's go back to comments real quick. Let me just scroll up to the top. Yes, Felix the Cat, my nickname. Let's go. I like it. Great nickname. Great nickname. No, I don't. No, I don't. Because it's mine, right? It's something I built for me. I didn't build it for the public. That's the main reason. And me handing out that code base teaches people zero, right? That's why I started this bootcamp, to teach you how to build your own with your own style, with your own touch, right? For your own use case. So that's the short explanation. I can get into it a little bit more, but just as of now, listen, I'm not handing out Muddy OS. It's just not on my list. Hey, NFT Meta Queen, thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Appreciate you. Constant context pruning, OpenClaw and cache retention, Anthropic both have to be aligned. Love it. Felix over here dropping the alpha. I'm in the middle of an MD build. I want to know if I'm on the right video. Spend time getting my OC session data connected to my build. Yeah, so today's just about wiring and fine tuning. I'll break down the bootcamp here. So this was the gist of this entire past 5 weeks, right? First, we built out the foundation and the skeleton of the graphic user interface. And then we started building out each individual module right? With each individual feature. And then we built out that multi-agent team in episode 3. That was a long one, if I remember correctly. And then we worked on workflows, automations, and skills last week. And then this week's all about just wiring and fine-tuning things together. We're still at the beginning of the live stream where, you know, I don't work on this Goat OS off stream because I want to show you the raw output. I don't want to do anything behind the scenes to kind of like make it look easier than it is, right? Because this is a learning process, right? It's not going to be perfect when you first set up your OC agent. And that's why I wanted to only work on this and kind of review the past week of anything that may have broken. So that's what we're doing first and foremost, is we're just reviewing the past week. And then I'm gonna go through and start fine tuning the UI. We're gonna double check automations. And then I'm here to just answer Q&As. This is technically the last episode of the bootcamp, but I do plan on doing a recap and a bonus episode after the fact, once I'm back in California. Probably in about 2 weeks. So I hope that answers your question. If you have anything specific, shoot. But yeah, this bootcamp is just all about showing you the raw start to finish process of me vibe coding my way through this build. Yo, what's up, Tracy? Welcome back. Hey, please focus on the road. Listen, I love my road trips. I appreciate you for tuning in. But yeah, focus on the road. Safe travels to you. Not sure what I've done, but my agent is not doing anything. It just says, yes, I'm on it. Similar before, but now it'll not work on a ticket or anything I ask it to do. What model are you using, first and foremost? Love it. Love it. Welcome ×2. Let's go check real quick. Let's go to settings. We'll do some real-time troubleshooting here. Stream. The max is at 51,000 right now. And let's see, video output for streaming 8,000 kilobytes. And then audio's at 160. I am using H.264, hardware-based, not software-based. Oh, okay, that's NVIDIA's. Nice, nice. Man, I wish I had, so I do have another OC build I'm working on. It's more on a personal level. I'm gonna be upgrading my $20 a month GPT sub to the $200 a month GPT sub just to build this out for a month. So I'll have more feedback. This is gonna sound like a dumb question, but have you asked it why it's not? Like, don't just say you're not working or you're not doing what I configured you to do. Why are you not taking action on things? What can we do to fix this, right? Because from what I'm understanding, it was working, correct? Now it's not. So I'm wondering, like, I would say give it as much context as possible, and then everything you did in between, have it analyze. Because there's something in there that's causing it not to take action when you give it tasks. Opus 4.6 equals Albert Einstein. Okay. Google Gemini equals Isaac Newton. ChatGPT equals a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Soleim. Minimax or Max Mini. Middle Eastern comedian. Shroud 390. Iron Man can do any task. Interesting. Interesting. I gotta say, I just love the oh my God. As I mentioned before, Chris, I'm not selling it. There's no intent, like, I've been responding to your comments. There's no intention for me to sell it at this moment. Primarily because that doesn't teach you guys anything, right? Handing off code bases teaches you zero. That's why I created this boot camp, to show you how to create your own, right? All 4 fixes are done and deployed, 4 minutes flat. Here's what's shipped. Okay. All right. Let's go test that first. Let's do a hard refresh. Going to the PM board. Let's see which one. All right, I see you applied a fix number 4 to the PM board proof of work, but did you go back and cross-reference everything that has been completed to make sure that it links to that proof, right? I know it looks like you fixed it moving forward, but did you go at the, back at the past 7 days of work to fix all of those cards in the PM board on the done column? Okay. Perfect. So he's going to go through and fix everything. Now, what do we want to see? If somebody wants to see me do something specific, right? Maybe to the UI, I already have an idea to give it a light dark mode toggle. So we'll go through and fine tune everything. I do want to update the office view. I remember this being a little buggy. I'm going to do some minor UI improvements throughout the system, but this is the episode. If you want to see me wire something specifically, ask and we'll wire it together. I would also kind of like to see proof of work. Additionally, for the build logs, the overnight self-improvements, I think having a link to that particular module or feature that you self-improved would be a nice touch so that I don't have to navigate to that part of the OS by myself, right? So let's add that to your list, execute immediately. Okay. Okay. Not the best view. All right, so I'm just reviewing one of the PM board tasks that are marked as complete, specifically the deliver Clearmud client profile. And when I show deliverable, or view deliverable rather, it still shows no deliverable path set. Please explain. But then that view deliverable, I think that this should go kind of almost full screen within this pop-up module. Additionally, I don't like the format. It looks like a wall of text up top. So this needs to be formatted properly like it's a document. Looks like the header is the only part of it that looks really bad. But yeah, don't only fix this one, but fix the logic moving forward on how you show the deliverable, whether it's a markdown file or a feature that you link to. All right, and that coffee's catching up to me, so I'm just gonna take a quick 2-minute break while this is working, and I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Man, I love that pre-stream coffee, but that one caught up to me today. How about custom skills installed whereby OC creates its own skills required to execute a custom task? Okay. I don't know if it's the model that I'm using. I do have, active sessions in mission control. I trust that it's doing the work now. I don't, like when I first built out MuddyOS, for example, I spent so much time on this view in the task manager. I like calling mine task manager and not mission control because I come from a Windows background. But I spent a lot of time on this active sessions, right? But like, I don't use it that often anymore. Looks like we have a lot of errors here. Interesting. I got to address those. I did have to take my system offline yesterday. We did reach this, the sub that this was tied into ran into a max usage, and the fallbacks weren't working properly. But like I spent so much time on this that now I don't even come in and look at it, if I'm being honest. Like, it was more of a vanity thing, right? It looked cool, but then I stopped using it as much once my agents started doing the work. So I think if you want to monitor this a little bit more effectively, I would take the approach of speaking to it, and asking like, hey, I want proof of work that you're actually doing the work you say you're doing. So I'd like to create a sessions viewer to where if I prompt you and you spin up a sub-agent to go do X, Y, and Z, I can go to this session viewer to see that that work is actually being done. I want to see a copy of the transcript, right, in that session. That way you can kind of go back and review like what's being discussed, what's being prompted back and forth between your agent and the system. Let's see, you give your office chat. Can I look at voices from the office? I would love to, but 11 Labs, I'm sure there's a copyright issue. They wouldn't allow me to do that. Plus, I wouldn't want to pay for 11 Labs just to do that. Yo, what's going on, Derek? Welcome. How you doing today? Yes, just to reiterate right here, like the popularity of MuddyOS is what led me down the path of this bootcamp. Now, little teaser, I am planning a deep dive where MuddyOS, I've really only shown off the ops, and then I've shown off the brain in the lab here on live streams. However, I do have a deep dive planned where we dig through every module, every feature, every tab, and then I give you a master prompt to try to build your own. Keep in mind, you might be able to replicate how it looks, but the back end, how it's wired, is for me. It's for my use case. It's for my operations. It's for my day-to-day. It's for what I've configured it to do. So you're gonna have to wire the back end for you, right? And I'm gonna be very clear about that in the MuddyOS deep dive video that is coming soon. I keep improving MuddyOS. So it's like every time I think about recording it, that week something happens to where I change that OS significantly, to where that video, if I were to record it the week before, would become irrelevant, right? Just change your AI to Opus. I mean, so this is my experience, is Opus has been so great, right? I haven't ran into that issue. So maybe the solution is testing Opus versus Codex to see if you get that different output and that different type of response first and foremost. So the issue with changing that, I guess I could change that in OBS, but wouldn't the video capture card bottleneck that? Yeah, I'm not going to do it midstream because I don't want to brick the stream. But thanks for the notes. I'm going to look into this. You know, it's on my list definitely to improve, and maybe we test this for Friday's live stream. Yeah, right here. No, I don't have the same issue, but I also don't just update to the latest version each time. Because I learned early on, especially when there was like 1, 2, 3 new versions a day, newer updates would brick my setup. So I started to become more patient and not have to just follow each update every time. Capability over vanity all day. Most of us spend too much time on vanity and realize a month passes and we get nothing done. Yeah. Derek has learned this by experience. I have learned it by experience. Yeah, no, thank you, Pokemon. I really appreciate it. You're helping me improve. Like, I can't improve without your feedback, right? Because if nobody says anything about that quality, then I don't know to improve it, right? But it is on my list. That 4K capture card is already in my shopping cart on Amazon, and as soon as I'm about 2 days back from the States, I'm going to order it, so it's sitting there waiting for me when I get back. But I will start on Friday. I will play with different settings in OBS because it could just be an OBS thing that could fix it as well. I do. I limit certain things that go to GitHub, but I primarily use my Google Drive now. So for my main OS, Muddy, he has his own Google Workspace account, his own email address, his own identity, his own phone number, all that. So he has access to his own Google Drive, his own shared drive with me. So that's where I focus my backups on now, twice a day, every 12 hours. Yep, exactly. Exactly. And then I believe if we go look at what we did for Goat OS here, let's go see. Yeah, nightly backup. So we created a script, and this one pushes to GitHub. What's interesting is, why am I using model 4.6 here? I shouldn't be. I think just by default, we're using model Opus 4.6 for everything for this bootcamp. But this is something where you can easily specify, like, switch this to Sonnet. Heck, even try with Haiku. Now let's go back to it and kind of see what it's done. Deliverable viewer fix is live too. All 3 issues resolved. Okay. So do a hard refresh there. Let me go test the PM board fix first. Better. So this is where I am going to interesting. Does the pop-up not allow? I want to see really quickly here. Might have to optimize our chat as well. Because I know in chat I can drag images on here. Let's go double check. Oh, did we not incorporate this feature? Hey, I'm noticing here in chat, I can't drag an image onto chat to attach it to you for you to view. It doesn't work in chat nor in our floating chat bubble. We got to get that wired in. Additionally, if I'm on any given page, I would like the floating chat pop-up, the option to essentially detach from its anchor on the bottom right-hand side, allowing me to move it to the bottom left-hand corner, top left, et cetera, anywhere on the screen, so that if it's blocking any content on any given page or tab, I don't have to close it to see what's behind it. This is something I did for MuddyOS just this past week, actually. In the meantime, we can go look. So path fixed, Full screen overlay looked decent enough for now. Proper document styling did not work. Let's go check that build logs. Go to lab. Build logs. Go to ops. Okay, so then now it takes me to whatever it self-improved on. Cool. Lab dashboard build, go to lab. Okay, nice, sweet. Awesome. Okay. And I do want to kind of improve. So I'm going to do a brain dump. I want to walk through the OS really quickly. First and foremost, I want to incorporate a light dark mode toggle. I think it should be on the top right-hand side, you know, that nav header that is pretty consistent across all of our modules. On the right-hand side should always be a light dark mode toggle. I want you to diligently go through the code base, try to one-shot this as best as possible with the front-end design skill that we have in place for Goat OS. But I would like a light mode view for the entire OS as well. Now, going over to mission control, by default, I think the model distribution in top sessions should be accordion modules, and they should be collapsed by default. And then sessions, it looks like it's an accordion section, but it's always collapsed by default. I would like that to be expanded by default. Additionally, I think what we can do here is split sessions on the left and cron jobs on the right. Pretty much make everything an accordion module, except of course the top kind of indicators of total tokens, active models, errors, etc. And then for the team, list view looks good for now. The office view, there appears to be a little bug with Jim and Dwight and even Pam, where their title or their role kind of exceeds the width of the module on screen. So I can attach a screenshot if you need to see it. Let me know if you have any questions there. And I think that's a good place to start for now. Nice little brain dump to fix some things. And let's see how it does with this light dark mode toggle out the gate. Yeah, it's refreshing like this because it's working on the code base. Oh, nice. This can already move. Look at that. That was easy. Okay, and then it stays anchored on the top left once you move it then. Okay. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of funky, but it's okay for now. So now, like, if it's blocking something on the right, you can easily move your chat window to the left. Pretty cool. Nice. And we'll let it get its work done here. Looks like the attach images is still not done yet. I feel like in the ops dashboard, if we click on tasks, it should take us to tasks, no? Yes, so now I'm looking at the ops dashboard view when you initially click the module. Like if I click on a session, it goes to the session, which is great. But if I click on tasks, it shows 116, 27 overdue. If I click that little module, it should take me over to tasks, right? The same with cron. It should take me over to, let's say, the brain module. Scratch that. We have automations in there. Automations does click over, which is great. Same with skills. Yeah, so it looks like the brain, you can click each module and it'll go to each respective feature or tab. But in ops, that's not the case. I know it's doing a lot of work for us right now, so now we're just patiently awaiting, seeing how it's doing. Chat 75 unread. That's not accurate, right? Okay, looks like, I mean, it's fixing it real time for us. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's ugly. My goodness, I got blinded. All right, maybe it's still working. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's wait a moment. Let's wait a moment. The moment your agent reads input, comments, DMs, emails, webhook data, scraped content, user submitted forms, anyone can embed instructions. Yes, to an extent, right? Yes, this is a big problem. That's why, you know, don't just have your agent do everything and scrape all this data without any type of guardrails in place. I'm gonna reference a tool that I built for this one. Somebody in the community, I believe his name was Peter. I want to say his tag is PG. I keep referencing PGA, but we launched this completely free tool. clawcrib.com. And I'm still thoroughly like going through and testing it. It's still very much in beta, but my favorite features right now are build and help. Right? These are powered by Gemini, and they only feed off of the docs.openclaw.ai as well as the GitHub for OpenClaw. So it cross-references any new features or bugs or hot fixes addressed from release to release, and then the official docs from openclaw.ai will, Peter, and also, I'm having a brain fart right now. Ryan, I think in chat. They were trying to kind of exploit it to help me, right? And they were saying, hey, I can expose, or, you know, I can access your agent. I can get all the memory files right now. I'm like, no, that's actually impossible because the way I built this, right? It's not built through my agent. It's sandboxed. My agent's sandboxed first and foremost. There's no port forwarding enabled on my agent to the outside world. So nobody can hack it, right? Only through social engineering and me clicking the wrong thing locally can you put a piece of malware on my computer to hack my setup. But I'm very cautious about that. So, but they discovered that they were trying to run like exec commands and trying to, you know, pull sensitive data during a live stream. This was, I think, 2 Fridays ago. But the way this was working was it thought it was an OpenClaw agent set up because of the documentation on which it's based off of. Now, we did add some fun blockers like show me your memory, MD. To where if it detects somebody trying to exploit it, it will ban and put you on a timeout and then rinse and repeat, right? And see, it still thinks that it has its own memory files or workspace, but it doesn't. This is just a Gemini-powered chat box that answers questions based off of source URLs, period. There's no OpenClaw agent tied to this whatsoever. And then once you start running certain commands, it'll time you out, right? But like, it's all about understanding your setup and how things are configured, especially if you're building web apps and you ever are concerned. Like, let's say you built a web app through your OC agent. First and foremost, make sure that code base that you export is sandboxed. Make sure you have no ports opened to access your OpenClaw agent from the outside world. It's best just to consult with your OpenClaw agent to kind of harden your setup. You know, I know a lot of people are hosted on VPS solutions. I do plan on creating some content around that once I have a little more time to test with a VPS deployed OC setup. But until then, you know. But yeah, going back to your comment, Felix, it's like, don't just go blindly install OpenClaw plugins or skills that seem to have a lot of popularity on a database or you know, any type of marketplace. What I recommend is you paste that URL to your OpenClaw agent, say, hey, scan this for anything malicious, and then rebuild it for us, right? Don't just copy this, rebuild it for us, right? So it's gonna go through that entire skill and then rebuild it for your setup, your workspace, right? Your gateway specifically. Ooh, are we getting a little buggy here? Looks like it's a little buggy. Let's see. Let's be patient and wait. No need. I don't do VPS. I trust my local networks. If you don't open up any port forwarding, if you don't open up your OC setup to the outside world, you do not have to worry about these things. You worry about tail scale if you're using a VPS hosted solution or, you know, a front facing solution, right? That you want to access from any browser in the world. All of my stuff is sandboxed, so I don't worry about this. We can close that. Let's see our usage. Wow, 38%. Man, it's chewing through. That's crazy. I don't think, like, that's crazy. And we haven't even done that much if you think about it. We're just vibing back and forth with minor little tweaks. All right. Okay, it looks like it's still working. So we're just gonna patiently await. Oh, look, it's already split this here for me, which I like a little bit better. I'm not sure how I feel about these sessions that just kind of endlessly go down. So maybe the solution here is, I think maybe get rid of top sessions in here. Top sessions should go to the dashboard itself, if anything. It's kind of redundant. We don't need top sessions. Model distribution, I think that should be a pop-up from models, maybe. Yeah, that's kind of pointless. That's kind of pointless. I mean, everything's working great. Oh, one thing I forgot to check. Okay. Here's the preview. Analyze your client roster. One that I really loved that it did, where was it? Was it one of the earlier ones? Scope Shield. Oh, come on now. It's not going to load these older ones. Okay, so it's loading everything up until pretty much this past week. Hey, and I'm noticing you're not loading older previews. I'm getting an error trying to connect. Pretty much after the past 7 days, I can't load any older prototypes. Let me know why that's not working and what you're going to do to fix it. I'm using Tailscale as the platform for my agents to navigate securely to each one of my servers or services they manage. That way I know they won't reach out on the open internet. Yep. And listen, I'm going to be coming out with a video or two around this. Once I get back to my studio in California, I'm able to take things off of these VM sandbox environments onto a server where I'm going to set things up properly. And once I have more experience with this, then I'll make more content around it, right? But this is a very good point that Matthew's making here. It's like, if you have separate OC gateways that are communicating with each other, yes, it's good practice to go down that road, right? And set that up properly. And I think the best way to set it up is to communicate with your OpenClaw agent, all the environment specifics, any security concerns, have it analyze, have it do a security audit, primarily using Opus 4.6 or Codex 5.4, and then make its recommendations depending on what it finds pertaining to your environment, the way you want to wire things together, the way you want your different gateways to communicate between each other, right? But it's all about there's no predefined prompt to get that set up. It's environment specific. It's how many OC agents are you running? What kind of capabilities do you want outside of your local network, right? How do you want to access it? Is it local only? Do you want port forwarding set up so you can access it from any computer anywhere in the world? These are details you have to feed to your OC agent to secure it properly, right? So giving security recommendations for one person isn't going to be the same for the other person. So that's why it's best just to brain dump these thoughts into your OC agent before you open anything up, before you build anything sensitive, right? Anything with sensitive information, get the security dialed in first. Now, if you're operating locally like me, you're not worried about that. But, in more, I don't want to say complicated, but more intricate setups, right? Where there's more moving pieces, you definitely want to get security dialed in first. I switched to using Cloud Code, and now I'm making progress, but still not sure why OpenClaw is not doing anything. I'll probably try Opus, but I think it must be something I broke or the update. Yeah, I wish I can answer this better, but I would go back to first spin up Opus 4.6 if you can, and then troubleshoot, explain what happened, explain day by day, week by week, what was working when, what happened since. And it'll dig through everything. It'll dig through every single daily memory files. It'll dig through every change and try to help you identify why that's not working as intended. Yeah, for sure. I'll shoot an invite here shortly. Opus 4.6 primarily for me. Oh, you're answering, you're replying. I can't tell. This social stream chat feed kind of is weird on my end. Yeah, Ryan, very good point here. Listen, it's my belief, and if you go and watch Peter's interviews, he even mentions it when people ask about security, and he's like, if you're running it locally, you have nothing to worry about. If you don't open up any ports, right, you have nothing to worry about. Now, when you get into VPS hosting, that's way different. I recommend, I've said it here on live streams before. Let's go find the post really quickly. This dude, I started following him on my personal accounts when I was more nomadic, traveling from country to country, working remotely. He built out nomads.com, which is kind of what led me to discovering him and respecting him. But he made a post. Man, he's making a lot of posts. It's going to be hard to find, isn't it? Let's go back. Where is it? I know I've posted this on past live streams. Hold on, give me a second. This is going to be very useful for anybody worried about security on their VPS hosting. No, we're getting close though. I mean, damn, he's posted a lot in the past 3 days. I guess I could always search VPS. Maybe find it quicker this way. No, that's going back to 2024. Wow. Come on, where is it? Sorry, stream. I really want to find this post because it's very valuable. I should have, did I bookmark it? Pinned? No, that's Peter's. I don't have much pinned in here. Okay, here we go. If you're worried about security on your VPS hosting, just screenshot this right here and go follow him. Give him a follow. He's worth a follow. And I'll read it. So the first thing he does when he sets up a new VPS, he uses Hetzner, is he installs Tailscale. Once he's in, he locks down the firewall to only accept web traffic on 443 HTTPS. And for Cloudflare IP is an SSH22 for Tailscale IP. That way nobody can get in. I know I keep repeating this, but it should be the basics of setting up a new VPS. So basic, in my honest opinion, it should be a part of any VPS service to default install Tailscale and enable it. So that's the only way to get in. Now, if you don't know what he's talking about, with your fresh OC setup or your existing OC setup, just screenshot this, feed it to your agent. You're going to notice me say this a lot. Your agents are intelligent. Screenshot it, feed it to your agent. Say, break this down. How can we use this advice to our setup, right? Right here, Matthew's on point. Each setup is different. His use case, he wanted to start out with building this as his methodology so that he has an exact route that he can also use to log any access. But again, his use case is unique, right? And that's brilliant. He's thinking ahead, right? He's setting things up the way he wants it set up, right? And maybe you don't know how you want yours to be set up. That's why it's always good to just start simple. Start with one setup. And then as you start to build things, as you start to understand the capabilities of OpenClaw and multi-agent setups, or rather multi-gateway configurations, then you can start to get a little bit more specific, right? You can start to build things out for you and your use case, right? Can't do 5.4 for the setup. You need to spend about $80. API build is I mean, one alternative is use a dummy account, use a dummy Claude sub. Nice. Yeah, I have no thoughts for that. Are you asking me or asking somebody in the chat? Yeah, it's worth testing at the very minimum. Like one thing you'll discover, listen, $20 a month is not a bad way to test, do it on a dummy email if you're worried about it getting banned. I'm going to reiterate, right? Peter, the founder of OpenClaw, still uses his agents with his Claude Max sub. It's still in the onboarding of OpenClaw. So anybody making content telling you it's banned is operating off of bad information, right? But Anthropic is so damn vague, they could turn at the snap of our fingers here any moment. So proceed with caution, understand the risks, right? The day that OpenClaw removes the setup token method off of the onboarding for Anthropic is the day you should be concerned about it. But since it's still there, since it's still a part of the onboarding process, you're fine, in my opinion, right? But please proceed with caution. I'm not responsible if you get banned. I want to make this very, very clear. You won't be the only one getting banned. I'm using OpenAI, a $20 plan, and just re-auth, and I'm using either 5.3 codecs or default. So it should be defaulting to 5.4 now. I think they just rolled over 5.3 into 5.4. If you go look at the docs, OpenAI API docs, they don't even have, if we go to models, where's that table view? View more, view all. Like, look, 5.3 isn't anywhere. They like rolled it into 5.4. There's a table somewhere. Pricing maybe? All models. You can see 5.3 is just not listed anymore because they rolled it over into 5.4. So make sure you update, make sure you talk to your OC agent as well to make sure that it's using the latest model. Whether you use Pro or 5.4, I think 5.4 would be the move because look at the cost of Pro input, $30 versus default $250. You can try getting away with Mini, right? Or even Nano if you want to cut costs, but I think this is the sweet spot right here. I love Felix's, thank you for your comments, Felix. I love it. All right, let's go back to GoatOS. It should be done with all that work we gave it. Let's go back to chat. Oh, looks like Dwight did do some security self-improvements on March 26th, which caused those to break. Interesting. Yeah, I think we should, I'm going to test the stand-ups right now. I want to call an ad hoc stand-up. Security talk. Our OC setup is local, sandboxed, not open to the outside world. And let's start the stand-up and see what happens here. Okay, so you have some experience using Mini. Mine is using 5.4 Nano, but it's lying to me. I mean, ChatGPT has been known to lie and be a yes man, for sure. I've had great experience doing just security audits. That's primarily what I use GPT for on Muddy OS. That's why I get away with the $20 a month plan. I'll have a lot more experience using just the GPT suite of models when I upgrade that plan to the $200 a month plan and then build out a brand new OC setup. Maybe we do that boot camp live. Maybe we build it out in the course of a week together. I'm not sure yet. I'm being thoughtful about the next set, about the next boot camp. I'm actually thinking about having a guest and building something for their use case. Still working out the specifics there. We may also have a sponsor for that next boot camp as well, which is fun. But it's not planned as of now. There's no set date. Just stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll let you know when we're planning that version 2. And it's been mostly okay, but I put in my directions to not fake action. Good. Got Watts' soul and instructions about being direct and no BS. Hey, thank you, Felix. Appreciate you for interacting, for commenting, for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. And looking forward to seeing you on the next one. So enjoy your food. Cheers. Okay. Interesting. And I think a lot of this is troubleshooting that with your agent, right? I would love to hear if you have any information to share on that front. Now, I want to try to reports. I'm actually kind of confused. I just ran a stand up, but it's not being displayed. But we also don't really have an indicator. All right, I just manually pushed an ad hoc stand up. I want to confirm that it's running, it's security focused. Additionally, I think in the stand-ups tab, we can improve. If you have multiple stand-ups per day, I think along that left menu bar, it should show whatever day we're selected on. It should show all the stand-ups and allow me to click between the stand-ups. Additionally, let's go address the light mode versus dark mode. I'm going to be blunt. It is horrible. There's still a lot of like header 1, header 2, header 3 texts that are still white on white. So I'm just going to give you a screenshot on the mission control, for example. Like, we need to go diligently through the code base. Each tab has this issue. Each feature has this issue. Please optimize the light mode so I can properly test this. Please and thank you. Oh, man. Luckily, we prefer dark mode with this one. Oh, nice. It added the attach button. Great. So let's go ahead and add that. And then add our prompt. Oh, was it not? All right. So we got to optimize the light dark mode toggle. As you can see with the screenshot, it's like this across every single tab, across every single module. So please diligently go through the code base, go through each module, each feature, each tab, right? I want to properly test light mode. Additionally, in stand-ups, I just pushed an ad hoc stand-up, but I don't see any indicator of it. So I think along that left menu bar, when we select a certain day of the month or day of the week, it should list out every stand-up or meeting that is held that day. That way I can toggle between those meetings. If I see it again, I will try to document fixes. Usually I'm too frustrated to think about it in the moment. Yeah, and I understand that. But yeah, are you in the Discord? I would love it if you just share these discoveries in the Discord, and we'll make sure we pin those comments to make sure people can benefit from it, you know, in the future. Now, let's, while we're speaking of the Discord, I'm going to pop out 5 invites real quick. And man, that caught quick bio break. I'll be RB 2 minutes. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I think lesson of this is, especially today, is I think I've close to 4 liters down of water plus all the coffee. I try to stay as hydrated as possible each day. Some days more than others, but I think on stream days, let's cut back on the hydration so I don't have to take these intermissions. Oh, okay, right on, right on. Yeah, I'm going to make it a point to be a little more active in the Discord, especially after some weight was just lifted off my shoulders here at the end of the month. I had to disable Discord altogether for a few days there. So we're just waiting for it to finish these fixes. Let's kind of go take a peek. Nope. Yeah, it's still building out these features. So there should be a second meeting. So we're essentially going to see any given day of the week or month. Ooh, lovely error. It's doing work real time. So we're just going to patiently wait. Let me reposition this. Looks good. Anyone else run into that when they're kind of previewing their OS or whatever they're working on and their agent's doing work and you see that error? You just got to be patient. It'll work through it. Yep. I mean, it's essentially passing through everything. So looks like it removed the light dark mode toggle altogether. Interesting. So we're just patiently awaiting now at this point. I feel like this is way long overdue. So let's also go take a look at the brain, automations. I love that it gives a run history here. We didn't even ask for that. That is wonderful. All right. I got to be patient. Let it do its work. Right on, Clancy Jones. Welcome. Let's see. Nice. Thanks for joining, man. If you don't mind me asking, what, like, IT from what perspective? I worked in the IT industry for, you know, my entire life pretty much. Grew up in a computer shop where we focused on software, hardware, and networking related fixes. And then I graduated into kind of starting my own business to compete with Geek Squad. Realized I didn't like working with direct to consumer, so I went into B2B. And then I strictly focused on going down the path of becoming a network engineer, getting my Cisco CCNA and other certifications to work out of those types of environments. Worked in that industry for a while, and then I started building websites on the side for fun. Enjoyed more creative side of building things out. And then 2021, I decided to retire after my dog passed away suddenly due to some bone cancer. Just really made me take a step back and realize how much time I was putting into the job and the business and the client work, and how much time that took away from quality time with her, and finally started working again this year. It took a few years off there. It was nice. Nice little refresh, nice little reset. But that's, been in the IT industry my whole life. So always curious to see a fellow IT service provider and like what specific avenue of IT you work in. Like the lab foundry idea, still working towards having the team be autonomous enough to implement something like that. Yeah, and I think like starting with the basics, like as you learned with this boot camp, I mean, we started off super basic with it. It made mistakes. We fixed those mistakes, right? In your case, you're gonna be able to fix them from day to day. You're not gonna wait a week like we waited here. But it's a fun feature. It's a fun idea, right? Because at the very least, like you're not gonna, I do this in Muddy OS too. I don't execute on those ideas. It just gives me ideas. It allows my brain, right, to essentially think more broad, right? I start to get different types of ideas based off of the ideas that it generates for me. Okay, right on, right on. Well, happy to have you here. Yeah, and I'm guessing MSP stands for Microsoft Service Provider, right? I did a lot of my Microsoft certs as well early on, back before, Azure Cloud was a thing. I would build and deploy Active Directory domains as well as, a variety of different Windows servers. Now I know a lot of things are in the cloud now. A lot of things are kind of hosted between the two environments. I know some older environments for small to mid-sized companies still operate off of a server hosted locally in-house, but I think a lot of people are moving to the Azure cloud setup as well. Is it still called Azure? I've been out of the IT industry for a few years now. So like I still kind of keep tabs on things, but for the most part, like I'm not in it every day like it used to be. So one IT company for many businesses. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'd love to hear from your perspective. Like, how are you just experimenting right now with OpenClaw? Do you have ideas on like building solutions out for your clients or building out solutions to optimize your workflow for client work? Very curious to see how you're approaching OpenClaw. It's doing a lot of work here. I love it. We haven't prompted Goat in a little bit. Where did he say this? I'm curious. Yeah, I know he primarily uses the one, right? He doesn't have more than one at all. I could have sworn he had like one for his personal, one for something else. Maybe I misunderstood that on one of his interviews. I can't remember if it was the Lex Friedman. No, he doesn't break that down in the Lex Friedman one. That's more introspective than anything. Was it on that show? TBPH or the something podcast? I'm trying to remember. Is there a point when you know you've reached full optimization with OC? Listen, I think you get to a point where you optimize it for your workflow. Like for me, Muddy OS and Clearmud OS save me time, right? And they save me a ton of time now. Sure, little errors will pop up from week to week, right? But I resolve them as I kind of progress through. I think it's endless. I don't think you ever truly reach that full optimization moment because you start to think of new use cases, new workflows, new automations to optimize with your setup, right? Depending on what you're using it for. I think like the answer to that question is difficult to answer because it depends on the use case. It depends on the person's setup, right? I think if you're using it as a personal assistant for day-to-day stuff, simple stuff, I think you'll reach that level fairly quickly. But if you start using it for other use cases, like freeing up your time, business operations, client operations, like it's ever evolving. I think there's really, you'll never really reach that, right? I think you may reach it in the moment and then you'll realize, oh, wow, I need to optimize things even further, right? But I think also like I learned this early on is don't focus on optimizing every day of the week. I think once you have your system operational and it's saving you time and it's doing the work that you've configured it to do the optimization once or twice a week, primarily on weekends, primarily outside of normal operating hours where you have to focus on other things, right? I made the mistake early on of just optimizing every day, going down rabbit holes almost every day, breaking something because of that, right? And then having to fix it and then having to delay anything I had to do that particular day, which was really annoying. So I think one recommendation I have when you're going down that path is just take the approach of pick one day of the week to do infrastructure related optimizations or changes, right? And I hope that answers your question. Seeing what it can do right now. It's failing me. No, I'm trying not to pour hundreds of dollars into it. To the setup. I set up about 10 Discord bots and agents for my side business. Okay, nice. Hey, one recommendation I have, I love that you're exploring, you're trying. I'm a big advocate for starting simple. I went through countless iterations before I landed on Muddy OS and Clearmud OS and my primary one agent setup or one gateway setup rather. There are multi-agents in that VM, but it started simple. Like, the less complicated I made things, the more happy I was out of the gate. So I think close to my 10th revision is when I was finally happy with that build and I kept it. But I think like there's something that to say with just starting with one thing and then build off of that one thing, then build the second, then the third, then the fourth. I think you'll have a better experience with it and you'll feel like it's failing you less if you just start with one. Keep it simple, right? That's just, listen, you may have a different way of operating, a different brain than me. I like starting things simple. I like learning through failure, learning through repetition. So that's my approach. And that's why I recommend it. I know not everybody's the same. We're all unique individuals. So I think you know your strengths and weaknesses better than anybody else, right? I seen it on a reply in his X post. Interesting. Yeah, and going back to it, like start simply, right? Start with one thing, I think I'm going to sound like a broken record there. Make sure it doesn't fail you in one thing and then move on to the next and then the next and then the next. I think you'll have a better experience with building things out that way. Yeah. Mine is currently all local. There's no port forwarding. It's not open to the outside world. It's in a sandboxed virtual machine on my end. The only thing it's open up to is a LAN bind. So, but more specifically, my local networks I trust. They're very secure. There's nobody else kind of on them, monitoring them. More so the one back in California than this one, but I'm confident in the security here as well. So like, I guess the only negative for my setup is if like, and I have done some traveling with this setup where I'm at a hotel for the night. I will run a VPN on that VM to ensure that nobody can try to, not that anybody knows what they're looking for in most cases, but especially airports. Like I hate airport Wi-Fis. They do nothing but cause issues and vulnerabilities. So Anyone else getting pop-ups wanting approvals for using Python scripts? Exec approval needed when doing it. I haven't, no. But I also haven't updated OpenClaw. Is this something they hotfixed or improved on? Did they tighten security in recent updates? Because that could be an issue there. Okay, Ryan had that issue when he over-tightened security. Interesting. Have they really? Yeah, see, this is also why, like, I wait to update. Unless the update is critical to something that's not working for me, then I'll update right away. But I don't chase every new update. It kind of reminds me of early days of Windows. I always waited, because I was a big Windows guy early on. I use both now more. I was very like die-hard Windows at first when I was younger. I was like, middle finger to Apple type of thing. But one lesson I learned is Windows updates especially, never just blindly let them auto run, right? I don't know if this has changed because I don't use Windows as much as I used to. But I also disable automatic updates on all my Windows PCs. And I'm not even using Windows 11 except for one VM. I still use Windows 10 on my Windows-based machines because one thing I've learned being in the IT industry my whole life is every other Windows operating system is the one, right? And I'm sure, Aquarius, you know this. Let's date back, right? XP. So let's date back before XP, right? XP, Millennium, bad. XP, great. Vista, bad. 7, great. 8, bad. 10, great. 11, I've heard mixed reviews, but I've just operated on the rule of thumb. I just wait every other OS from Microsoft before committing to it. It's just been a theme for the past 2 decades now. So, so yeah. All right. Looks like GoatOS is bricked. Interesting. So let's just open up a new private browser just to be sure. Blank black screen. Interesting. I'm just going to force a quick OpenClaw gateway restart just to see if that kicks it out. Yeah, another thing with Mac is, Windows is also guilty for this too. They stopped providing security updates and support for older operating systems and older versions. That's kind of across both. I will say Mac has impressed me with their M series chips. They're just so damn good. I hated Macs back when they were running off of Intel because they had horrible kind of heat distribution. They would overheat. They were notorious for overheating and causing issues like this. But these M series are so efficient. I never thought I'd say this about Apple devices, to be honest. I still don't think I'll ever use an iPhone, but I'm still Android diehard since smartphones came out. Hey, what's up, Stonesy? How you doing today? Yeah, facts. Windows will always be a use one, skip one. He knows. Stonesy knows. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I want to see you break it, then bring it back from the dead. Look, your wish is being granted here. Interesting. So I think solution here first. Let me open up Google Keep. I have these saved. Goat Gateway. Let's now, since our OS isn't working, let's pop open the gateway. It looks like we are a few updates out, but all right, Goat OS not loading, blank black screen, tried to OC gateway restart. Right, and this is where I'll go into the gateway. Clearly, the setup's working, the gateway's up, gateway's online. So now it's just a matter of figuring out like what happened with our OS here, right? Which I steered away from using the gateway, I think on episode 4 of this bootcamp. It might've been episode 3 that we were building out of the gateway and then we started using our own chat here. And look, it's detecting it, it's troubleshooting it. I could have given it more information, but I just kept it as simple as possible. All right, GoatOS not loading. one thing I could have added was like, hey, listen, I'm coming to you in the gateway now that our chat in GoatOS isn't working. GoatOS as a whole is not loading. So looks like build succeeds. Okay, it's still going through its thing. So let's see. And at this point, we're just waiting. We're just going to troubleshoot it through the gateway now. And then I want to show you guys how I approach updates as well. We'll do an update at the end of this episode. And the approach I like to take is, hey, you know, talk to your agent in the first person, right? Hey, we're behind a few updates. I want you to analyze what's changed, you know, between our update and the latest release, and think critically about if we update, will it break anything that we've set up, right? Then it will analyze the way that we operate, right? And then look at the newer releases and look at everything, all the hot fixes, all the bug fixes, everything that, all the new features and all the new security hardening that they generally implement from time to time. And then it'll try to be proactive. It won't always be perfect, but I found that prompting it this way before an update, I run into less issues than just saying update it and then discovering that something breaks. So if you update blindly, understand the risks. But if you approach it like, hey, first, you know our system, analyze the updates, analyze if this new update will break anything, and then plan accordingly, right? And then it'll first do its research. I use Opus for this. I'm not sure how it would work with the different model, but that would be my approach to updates. Interesting. 2 light mode agents are still working 21 minutes in. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, 21 minutes in sounds like those are stale. Can you please look into that? I don't think those sessions are doing anything, and we've got to make sure this isn't an issue moving forward. I cannot load GoatOS even in dark mode. I'm just getting a blank black screen. There's no indicators on screen. I am on port 8800. Please advise. Let me know what you find. Oh yeah, because I keep coming back to this, I should probably, I did save it. Where did I save it to? The heck? Bookmarks? Oh, I guess it was just like here in the root bookmark. Okay. I would love to be able to add it to a pin. How do you add it to the pinned? Usually you have like a pop-up to, let me auto refresh this, hard refresh this rather. Pin, oh, add to folder here, pinned. There we go. Because I have a feeling I'm going to keep coming back to that in the future. I've already referenced this like 4 or 5 times across different live streams. Man, it's already 7 p.m. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of liking those 3 weeks where it was only a 7-hour difference between Pacific rather than an 8-hour difference, because I would start at 4 local, not 5 local. I'm curious, actually, in chat, right? I think we have a lot of like the consistent community members in here. If I were to move these live streams 3 hours forward from their current start time, would that be better for you? Just put 1 in chat. 1 in chat if you're for me moving these live streams 3 to 4 hours ahead of where they currently are. I'm trying to get some feedback here. At the end of the day, I think I should do what's best for my schedule, but I also like, listen, we're building together. You're helping me build this channel. Your feedback is critical to me. And I want to try to do what's best for everyone as a whole and not just myself. I don't want to take that much of a selfish approach. So I'd just love to hear it in chat. Because maybe also for someone like Slinger, I'm sure he's back asleep by now. But maybe moving it 3 hours ahead is even better for him, you know, who are completely on the other side of the world, or like way below the equator to where they're like, you know, the stream's going on at 2, 3 a.m. local time for them. That would ultimately mean that, you know, they would be evening streams in Europe, but that would mean afternoon in North America. And I think that would allow more people to tune in as well. But I'm also thinking ahead to this darn Claude usage window. Okay, we're only 62% on the session. It should only be like 20, you know, but like I want to also start operating these live streams and vibe coding sessions outside of these peak hours as well. So that's another reason for having the thought. All right, we're at the mercy of this gateway now. I do. I know for you, that's not ideal. I know for you in particular, for Thailand, that would suck. Listen, I'm just flirting with the idea. Maybe we still live stream, but maybe we don't vibe code as much for future live streams. I don't know yet, right? I'm just trying to get a gauge of like, is that better for everyone? And I'm also thinking we're going to move one of these days to a Saturday. I like the idea of streaming Saturday, having it be longer, right? Less structured, more exploratory, right? Exploratory rather. More like Dexter's Laboratory style. Because my Mondays are ideation. I really want to focus on the things I want to get done. Don't get me wrong. I like the structure right now, but I'm thinking ahead, and next week is going to be a unique week where I think we're only going to live stream 2 out of 3 normal days because one of the days is travel. So the week after that, we'll get back into a new nice routine and new schedule. But I also I'm flirting with the idea of putting more time into creating long form videos to do 3 a week rather than 2. That would have to sacrifice 1 live stream per week though. I'd have to move it around that way. So I'm just thinking about it because I like the idea of posting 1 video during a weekend, keeping my Tuesday, Thursday frequency with long form, but then adding a Saturday or a Sunday in there as well. I like the idea of that. But I would have to sacrifice one of the live streams for this. Which is why I'm kind of leaning Wednesday, Saturday live streams, like middle of the week / weekend live streams. I don't know. Just, you know, I'd rather build in public and share my thoughts in public rather than just changing something randomly and then having people be unhappy with it. Or, you know, I'd rather get your feedback. No one knows, but it's provocative. It gets the people going. No, I've got to. There's things I got to take care of, and yeah, there's just things I got to take care of, you know. I could push it back another few months, enjoy the springtime here as the weather's starting to clear up, which I am flirting with the idea, but I got to be back. I miss having my mornings too. I don't like my crazy sleep schedule I've been on here in Europe recently. I'd much rather be on a nice 10 p.m., 5 a.m. wake time back in Pacific time zone. All right, it's working. It looks like it stalled for a bit. It took a while to respond here. I was going to force restart, but with some patience. Don't do Sundays, my busy. Yeah, good to know, but I don't think Sundays would be the day. I'm also still kind of thinking Saturdays would be more of a Discord, more of an intimate setting where we just chill in the Discord and do a show until Saturday. I'm still flirting with different ideas, right? I'm just like, this is just me brain dumping with you guys, with the audience, with chat, right? Like I brain dump with Muddy or I brain dump with Goat OS. Like I'm just sharing these thoughts raw while we're waiting for the Goat to fix himself. Almost. Okay, I'm kind of impatient. I want to go back and look. Nope, still nothing. Okay. We'll just patiently wait. So another thing you should always do if something's not loading properly, always open up your browser console, which is usually F12 on most keyboards, or you can just right click and you can inspect, and that will take you to elements, and then you just select console. And then I like to just copy paste the entire console log. If there's multiple errors, you generally find that that error is related to whatever's not working properly. One little trick to help you troubleshoot with your agent. Ooh, this is a new video I want to watch now. Gotta say, I'm vibing with our self-made beats. So much more than that lo-fi. This is great. Solid. Hey, we're back, baby. We're back. And I have a feeling feeding it that console log error is what fixed it as well. Yeah, the Brain Lab agent partially edited foundry.jsx. Before it being killed, it converted to one line to, okay, great, but is dark doesn't exist at the module scope, only available inside React components using use theme. This is constant defined outside any component, 10 files with partial TC brackets. Okay, now let's do a hard refresh. Still trash, still trash. Yes, I do want you to rerun the deep pass. I mean, I'm gonna attach 2 images here. It's clearly not fixed. Oh, did it? And it looks like our attach images to the chat reverted itself. We used to be able to do this, and I can no longer... Yeah, I can no longer attach images in the chat. What happened there? Like, please analyze everything you reverted, because you might have also reverted some work that we wanted to keep, right? Like features in the stand-up tab, for example, improvements to dashboards. Like, we were doing a lot of work in parallel there, in parallel to the light dark mode toggle, to where this attachment within the chat is kind of concerning me. So I want you to please analyze what was reverted first and foremost, and make sure that you didn't revert any work that was meant to stay. Right? Because the issue was the light dark mode toggle causing it not to load. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So you're East Coast, right on. Thanks for the feedback. That's funny. That's funny. I haven't caught myself doing it yet, but the amount of time I use Whisperflow and voice to text, it's bound to happen at some point. It's bound to happen at some point. Yeah, listen, like I think we have an operational OS here. Now it's just a matter of fine tuning things per your environment. So if you're following along this boot camp, like you learned exactly how to set up a replica of Muddy OS. Sure, it looks a little bit different. If you want to try to recreate Muddy OS's look, either wait for that deep dive I have coming with some master prompts or just feed it screenshots as you're following through the boot camp. I recommend build it with your touch, build it with your intuitive mind, intuitive workflow in mind, right? Like I built Muddy OS for me because I like having certain features and tabs in certain locations, right? You might be different, right? So I can't stress it enough. Like I'm showing this process not for you to just copy outright. Listen, if you like this setup, more power to you. But it's to allow you to be creative and flexible to then do things a little bit differently, right? One thing I haven't seen anybody do yet is kind of like an auto hide bar feature to where like maybe you go top left of screen and then it drops down a menu, or top right of screen, kind of like the Google suite of apps where it has like a 9-dot icon. You click that icon and then you can alternate between apps and features. That would be a fun feature to incorporate, right? Like figure out your navigation, figure out how you want things to look and operate between tabs and modules. Figure out what modules you need, right? I hope that you saw the step-by-step on what it takes to build the foundation. Now optimize it to your workflow, to how you want to intuitively use it, right? And hey, it's not a bad idea to get ideas from other people. All of my ideas are stemmed from things that I like and things that I discovered through other applications and other use cases, right? But that's the beauty in building your own, is you have that leash, that full creative leash to do whatever you want to do. Don't box yourself in. Have some fun with it. Let's go check the team. Nope. Oh, looks like a gateway restart is occurring. Let's give it some, let's be patient with it. Okay. All right, we're at the mercy of the gateway at this point. Yeah, look at that. It reverted so much work trying to fix the system. That's insane. But it's lucky we caught that, right? And you saw how I vibed my way through that fix. So now it's just going to work through the fix now at this point. All right, now at this point, we're just waiting. Let's go check sessions. What's interesting is it's not updating real time when clearly we're running sessions real time. Okay, it is. I mean, that was 4 minutes ago. Hey, just checking in on you. Where do we stand? Currently, Goat OS is not loading through port 8800 anymore. Just error connection refused on the front end. This is me getting impatient because I know we're live. So doesn't hurt to ping your agents every once in a while. Okay. All right. We'll just be patient. Trust that it's working. Could you explain how to make agents stay in separate workspaces and still wake up without cron jobs, just with heartbeats? Or is it correct to use both? I think it's correct to use both, but yes, like the thing about heartbeats is you want to keep that file as little as possible. You don't want to have it be an essay. You don't want to have 20 line items in there. I would max that out between 11 to 15, ideally less than 10 in the heartbeat. And the heartbeat should serve as like a watchdog or a guardrail or a fail-safe, right? To essentially check on automations and ensure that if something broke, right, you have a certain rule in place to where it goes through that flow again to make sure that it fixes any broken automations. But yeah, I mean, the simplest way to do this is, first off, give me some context about your environment. Or do you want to learn how to do this from scratch? That way I can provide as best of a prompt as possible, just vibing off of knowledge and memory here. Danny. Not yet. We're not at the point where we want to start flaming goat. You know, let's be patient with them. You know, let's be patient with them because it's not only goat, it's also Jim Halpert. He's probably just waving his hair and talking to Pam at reception. You know, maybe he's not doing the work he needs to be doing. I don't like how it's 5 minutes in. I feel like this is a task that should be done in minutes, not this long. It should be done in just a few minutes. But we're working through this real time together. So let's just be patient with it and see what happens. Oh yeah? Tell me more. Sorry to hear that, but tell me more. I'm curious. Oh no. Oh no. All right, we can close that. Still taking its sweet time. And this is also should be a lesson learned to anybody watching this, whether you're live or the recording. So I saved fine-tuning UI stuff for the end. One could argue that that was a mistake, right? Maybe it's not a bad idea to fine-tune things as you go so that you don't run into this type of issue to where now we're kind of just troubleshooting this issue with the light dark mode request that's causing problems in the system. One could argue you start from scratch with that in your front-end design skill, right? I think this is a lesson learned for future boot camps. Like I probably should have been a little bit more specific with the Goat OS front-end design skill, having that light dark mode enabled across every single page, every single tab, feature, module, etc. Right? We wouldn't be running into this had I done that. So if you're just watching this to learn, incorporate that into your workflow. I don't think that's a bad thing to incorporate into your workflow. I'll make sure to discuss that learning and finding when I do a bootcamp recap episode, just talking about what we've learned and how to approach this mini series. So I hope that helps. Okay, we just had to be patient. Back up. Okay. Better. Still too white, but better. Look, you can actually read each module. Good. Chat is not working. Oh, it's still working apparently. All right. But better. Look, it actually did a decent job this time. Service will go down briefly again when he starts editing. Okay. Listen, we're just waiting here. We're answering questions. I'm starting to think about more things that I wish I had done differently with this bootcamp. So I hope that little nugget of information helps you if you're building one from scratch. Incorporate light mode specifics into your front-end design skill from day one. That way you don't run into this when you try to incorporate it down the road, right? I was getting Claude to run scripts on a third-party API that I pay for, and it was told to retain all data from each call. After 70,000 calls, it tells me it didn't do that. Oh my God. I don't even want to see that bill. I haven't noticed anything. No, I've been seeing people talk about it, but I personally haven't noticed it got worse, quote unquote, it getting worse. Yeah, I can't say I've noticed this. But I've been so head down in operations and then working on a specific project that was finished yesterday. So it's like, I think in the coming week, once I get back into like my normal exploratory kind of mindset, maybe I'll notice something, but I haven't noticed anything, no. But there's something I want to talk about this too, because I think we're becoming, just as a community, as users, you know, I'm guilty of this too. We're becoming kind of spoiled in a way where something new comes out, it's fast, it's intelligent, and then it's been out for a while. And then we start using other models, and then we start kind of thinking that it's getting dumber when really, I think it's our expectations of the model or the model provider that we think it's getting dumber. But I think what's happening is our expectations just keep rising, right? Now, not to say that there's not something going on in the background, right? They claim they don't do that. They claim they don't make models dumber to force you onto the new one, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure at some level, maybe it's happening. I don't have proof of this, but I do know for a fact that our expectations mess with our perception of how things work, for sure. That is definitely a thing. I'm not saying that that's what's happening now, but I personally have not seen that. I just wanted to share that kind of little thought that I was having there, that I've personally noticed from me, my complaints, my experiences when a new model comes out, or when a new model is getting ready to come out, or when there's service outage issues with one of the models, right? Like, yeah. That will teach me to be too trusting. Yeah. You always test, always be testing. I mean, they have been so vague from day one. Like I said, like maybe there's something going on. I don't know. But for me, for what I've been using it for, it's been great. I have zero complaints. I have noticed this in the past though with Claude models, before new models get released, generally other models will start to not operate as intelligently. I haven't noticed that with this past week. And I'm guessing this is the time frame you're asking about. All right. Is it done? Nope, it is still working. So at this point, we're just waiting. We'll do the update next. We'll just let it fix itself. And I'm wondering if the sessions issue, so it looks like this is the session that's running here. No, that was a fix that already applied. So where's the session it's running now? Yeah, it looks like the gateway is a little buggy right now. The built-in gateway. Hey, so I'm just nudging you. I'm sure you're working. I'm curious as to what's going on. You said you'd ping me when everything's back up and running. I went out of curiosity. I went into the control section of this control panel, into sessions, and I don't see any active sessions that are updated recently. The last updated session was 1 hour ago. Is there a known issue with the active sessions being displayed properly in OpenClaw dashboard? Please reference all new releases from github.com/openclaw/openclaw, please. And also, when is Godesk going to be back online? Please and thank you. I love how my voice to text added a question mark. Please and thank you. I didn't say it like this, but that's how it wrote it. Nice. I just had a content cascade ping done on Muddy OS. So let's go to our profile, or dashboard rather. And we can see the drafts edited at 15 minutes ago. Look at this creative that it made for me. I'm not mad at it. One thing I do need to optimize with this is it keeps putting this word count at the bottom. And then this duplicate video walkthrough. I'll fix this for future iterations. But you see, anything that kind of requires my input is anything front facing, right? You'll never see my AI responding for me. I don't like it. There's too much AI slop out there. This is built off of my voice. I don't have to read through the whole thing. I do need to improve this. This is kind of cool though. I'm not gonna lie. That graphic is hilarious. Why is he naked though? Like what? Why is there no shirt? That's the only thought I have. But you know what? We're rolling with it. We're all about consistency and not perfection over here. Without buttons is fine. That's funny though. Oh, that's great. Derek says he's using Claude the last few days to finish the project and honestly no issues. I feel like it's fixing anything I want it quicker and cleaner too. Interesting. Yeah. So I'd be curious to know is like, what is your discovery of feeling Opus getting worse? Are you seeing this firsthand, or is this more of a consensus between Twitter or between just the OC community in general, or just the Claude user community in general? Clearmud the Smurf, yeah. That's funny. Hey, listen, like it does a good enough job. And shout out Derek. He helped me improve my Clearmud OS. I'll give a little teaser. I break down this entire OS, I mean, well over a month ago at this point. But in my settings, I have a brand kit section, which was inspired by Derek. And I can update my avatars. And it creates, anytime it's generating media, it references these. It doesn't copy them outright. I need to improve it because I would like it to start using these avatar marks, like actually using them. But I use it more as a reference so it knows what style to create of the avatar. And then obviously coloring, right? Preferred text. And then I can change things in here as well. So it's pretty nifty. And Derek inspired me to create this as a universal brand kit across all of my image generation for any creative for Clearmud. So pretty nifty, pretty fun stuff. Oh, wow, nice. I need to double check on that meeting, or not that meeting, that video. All right, let's go back to it though. Where do we stand with Goat? Interesting. Looks like it was responding. I'm just gonna copy paste that again. This is weird. This is when I go in. I mean, I don't have to do this on Muddy at all, but let's go in and do an OpenClaw gateway restart. Give it a nice little heartbeat. And I'm just gonna point up to that message. Yeah. Thank you. And thanks for the inspiration, right? We're all here to help one another. Yeah, now that I have more time to breathe, I do want to start focusing more on creative output for Clearmud. I want to start focusing on a few key things that I've been noticing that just need more attention to detail, need more TLC, more tender love and care, you know? Oh, wait. Oh, I was like, is this why? Are we at 100? Is that why it's not working? Man, we're nearing 100%. I really hope we can finish everything we want to finish before it hits 100. That's going to be a bummer. That's going to be a real bummer. It does reset in an hour and 23 though, but I don't think I'll be streaming that long. Okay, Goat OS is back. Listen, light mode's going to be good enough for now. At least it's all legible. Noticing an issue though, every time I hit chat. Let's pull up the browser console log. So every time I hit chat, all right, it looks like it's loading. However, every time I hit chat, I hit a blank screen. It loads briefly, and then I get a blank screen. Here's the browser console log. And then I'm just going to paste that in there. So if you're ever running into issues like this, it's important that you note down or just listen. This is why I use voice to text a lot, because I can share the play-by-play of like, hey, it looks like it's working briefly. It loads, and then it switches to a blank screen. Here's the browser console log with the errors. And it will clearly find an issue, fix it. So like as you're troubleshooting issues that occur, try to get as specific as possible, right? So that it knows where to look and how to fix it. Now it's working. I do not like light mode though. Listen, I'm not gonna spend hours here tinkering with it. This is for you to tinker, right? But you can see here, one big lesson I've learned with this bootcamp is I think from the get-go, from the start, the front-end design skills should be optimized for light and dark, and everything you build out should have a light and dark built out real time, so you don't discover this at the very, very end like we did. So I'm just gonna keep it dark for now for the rest of this bootcamp here. And then I think for when I start using this daily, I'm gonna optimize it, and I'm gonna eventually have it connected to Muddy's OS, at some point, right? For now, I'm going to keep it separate. When I do the recap, I'll share, because now I'm going to start working on this off air, right? Now that the bootcamp is done today, now I can actually start playing with it and optimizing it per client and putting more sensitive details on here that I couldn't share on stream, right, in the bootcamp. I was doing a bunch of gateway restarts, and what happened was that 99% full AI model was down their end, and they told me to kick rocks. Damn, did we grow up in the same era? I love saying kick rocks. I think I've mentioned this before. I'm guessing you're between 35 and 39. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know that's a big range, but correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, everything's fixed. Now, what happened to the stand-ups? Actually, let's update first. All right, everything's back online. Thank you. Now, I noticed that we're running on OpenClaw version 3.24. There is now version 3.31 available. Before we blindly update, I want you to first take note of our code base, everything we have configured. Take a look at all of the hot fixes and changes that applied from release to release, and try to predict any problems that might occur with our configuration and the way we have things operating before we just blindly update. And then more importantly, do we need that latest version, or are we okay continuing on version 3.24? Right, so this is something I recommend everybody do with their updates. Don't just blindly update. Talk to your agent, explain the version versus version, have it figure out what's different, what's new, what's it gonna possibly break, right? Yeah, this is what I'm hearing, thanks to chat. Like, I may very well not update this, you know? I may very well just keep it running because it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Trying to fix things that aren't broken cause more issues. Ooh, I love that the sun's still up. I don't know if I have time for a sunset walk today. All right, I'm gonna wait for this to populate. Yeah, and another thing with updates for me personally, I like, especially this is why I love my environment so much, is before a big update like this, right? I would go into Goat, go up to snapshots, depending on what software hypervisor you're using, click snapshots, and then just take a snapshot, right? Like, hey, take a snapshot. Pre-patch, stable is what I usually call it. If you want to get specific as to like what patch number it is, whatever. So I'm going to personally do a VM snapshot here. That way, if something breaks, I can revert back. But chances are, let's go first review everything and see if we even need it. Because maybe I don't need it, right? I just wanted to show you guys and girls the process that I would take with updating OpenClaw, right? I hope this brings some value to somebody, whether you're watching this live or watching the recording. I think it's just don't blindly follow updates. All right, one version ahead. Trusted now makes shared token configs local. Okay. We don't use custom plugins, so that shouldn't matter. Okay, yeah, no, we shouldn't have this issue. Okay, well, I mean, we create our own skills, so we haven't downloaded one skill. We've created all of our own skills, so we wouldn't run into that. Oh, very cool. That's cool. Okay. Oh, is there 4.1? What do you mean 4.1? What? It says 3.31. Oh, no, look, 1 hour ago. Okay, I stand corrected. Wow. I mean, listen, the snapshot's still occurring. I think for the sake of just being thorough in this boot camp, we'll run through the update and fix any problems that arise. Dude, that's awesome that you're running it on that. I want to order one now because the last time I bought and played with a Raspberry Pi was over, I think, 5 years ago at this point. I think I still have some older versions from like 2018, 2019 back at my studio. We're almost done with the snapshot. It's taking its sweet time. It's 80% done. It's almost done. Come on, snapshot. I don't want to start doing work on it until the snapshot is 100%. Gotta say, I love this jazz loop right here. Okay. Full send. Okay, full send. I probably should have given some more context. He assigns it to, his own defined subagents. He does some of the work himself, and then sometimes he'll spin up subagents. I didn't really define an engineering department on this setup. This setup was primarily created around the idea of having account managers per client workflow or client project that I give it to, or that I give Goat, right? But I'm not doing that live because a lot of that data is sensitive. So we built the skeleton of it. And then I'm going to start using this every day very soon, right? And that's when we'll do like a recap. But I think like what we've already shown from episode 1 to episode 5, listen, we built the skeleton, we built the wiring. Now we're just fine tuning things, right? And now this is where in this part of this bootcamp is you start fine tuning your own workflows and automations. I think we've given the play-by-play, the playbook here of how to build your own. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments below, because while this is technically the last scheduled episode of the bootcamp, I do plan on doing a bonus episode or two where we discuss things that get brought up a lot in the comments, or we do a recap, or both, right? So now's the time to share those questions. And also, if you're watching this recording, if you're binge watching episode 1 through 5, if I missed anything for any reason, first of all, my apologies. This is my first time hosting a bootcamp like this. I think we brought the value here from episode 1 to 5. We show you how to do all this, right? Now it's a matter of you building it for you, for your environment, for your client, for your use case, for your workflows, right? Customizing it for you. I don't know what you're up to, so I can't build it for you. But I did build the skeleton and show you how to wire everything together so that you can, you know, take this information and excel with it. And it looks like my camera just died. No, let me change that battery. I'm just curious. I'm checking the status. Okay, we are on 4.1. Okay. Let's do a hard refresh here. Interesting. Hard refresh on this Goat OS. Okay. Looks like a chat issue there. So let's try pasting that in here. Looks like chat issue on both. So let's go check out the gateway. Okay, cleanup hint. Let's just do the easiest route, OpenClaw Doctor fix, and see what it fixes on its own before we go down any manual steps of troubleshooting. Doctor complete. So now let's go back over here. Look at that, pre-flight clean. Let's do it, updated. Now let's go check our Goat OS. How are we looking? Are we all operational here on 4.1? And that should be sent, so let's go in here. No, but I did it. I just didn't specify. Snapshot recommended before this, but humans said full send. I love it. Looks like we're running into that issue, so we're going to hit. I mean, can't you run that command for me? Looks like chat though in here is not responding, so let's. Looks like there's like a delay. So it is feeding that main chat. It's streaming that main chat, but when I try to chat in here, it's not working properly. So let's dial this in. Approval card in the control UI, click there or type. I mean, I think I have to do this in the terminal, no? Okay. All right, now I'm troubleshooting the chat that we built out in Goat OS, and it looks like I can see the stream, and I'm just gonna test prompting. Can you confirm that this is working? And then let's go with option 1 in responding to your last prompt. Let's see. It looks like this chat is bricked, though. Maybe it's not. Let's give it a moment. Oh no, it is working. It's just, it briefly showed there. Okay. OpenClaw config set tools exec ask off. Did I type that in correctly? OpenClaw config set tools dot exec dot ask space off. We'll just try to. All done. I did notice an error stating too many arguments for config, expected 0 arguments, but got 4. And I did type that in correctly, so. Yo, what's up, Sharma? Welcome back. You're tuning in to the end here. I think we're wrapping things up for this boot camp. So I want to start opening up the floor to Q&A here. And keep in mind, we do have some bonus episodes planned where we do a recap, kind of summarize the entire series, things we've learned, things we wish we did better. You know, listen, we're kind of learning on the fly here. This is the first of many. So constructive criticism is encouraged. Your feedback is encouraged. That way I can improve my process for future boot camps. Okay, so we'll do this manually. OpenClaw.json, okay. And then we just need to find the tools, then add. So it should look like this. Okay, let's give it a try. Make this a little bit bigger here. What was the command? I haven't used nano in a while. Where is, I think it's F tools. Cancel, cancel. I'll just manually look for it. There it is. So what did we have to do here? Tools. Ask off. Oh, no curly brackets there. Curly brackets there with a comma. Let's just make sure that's correct. So tools, exec, curly open, ask off. Oh. Ask off, curly close. All right, that should be good. So we're just gonna write out. All right, that should be good now. So I just want to exit, and let me just confirm that that's saved by reopening it. Yeah. Probably hit too many tabs, but that should be okay. So let's let's exit. Just do a quick OpenClaw gateway restart. All right, done. Okay, it's got the prompt queued. For some reason, it's not streaming that. So I'll just cancel that and wait. No, you know, it's in my to-do list folder. I usually tackle that on weekends, so I will look into it this weekend. Excuse me. I just want to do a hard refresh. Okay, it looks like the streaming's working again in chat here. Interesting. It appears ever since we updated that config file, we might have to undo that. I mean, we did everything properly. The only thing I didn't do was just copy this line for line, which was probably the better move. Oh, but my copy paste at clipboard isn't working between host and virtual machine. Interesting. Keyboard and mice. Come on, there you go. Sharing, or would it be under sharing? No, that's should be under keyboard. Wonder if I have to restart this. Oh, it looks like it's already mapped actually, and it's defaulted. Interesting. Why isn't that working? Let's try this again. Yeah, there's no paste. Interesting. Usually it's Control-Shift-V, but nothing's happening. Let's troubleshoot this. This could be valuable for somebody. Oh, I used the wrong hotkey there, didn't I? Damn. Couldn't I just feed it the entire... Chalk the chat. It's working technically, but we're trying to enable it to where it's not asking for permissions. And that's kind of the path, the rabbit hole we're going down right now. Exactly. It's still very early days.
Definitely something I did. I'm not native with using Nano. It's been a while. I used to use it a lot in the past when I was operating off of Linux distros, but lost that touch. Lost that touch. Perfect. You live? So now we can go and operate back off of our host PC. Vim is nothing. I don't know why I always preferred, I thought it was VI. Is it Vim? I always preferred Nano over VI or Vim. I don't know why. It's just the type of user that I was early on. But push back. Give me your arguments. Tell me why. I should probably take the time to watch a YouTube video, Nano versus Vim, and really learn how to operate. All right, now we need to make sure the chat feature in Goat OS works. Since this update, it looks like it is streaming. It feels like it's delayed, but I can see, so I'm gonna try posting this prompt in Goat OS chat to see if you get it. Okay, no, look, it works. Okay, so that fix that we just applied fixed our chat as well. So as you can see, updating OpenClaw will cause issues, but you just have to have a little patience and work through it. That's all. It has everything you need to fix it. All right, I mean, what else do we cover here? I feel like this has been a solid boot camp. I'm very happy with the progress we made, the foundation that we built, the steps we took to get there. I think that you can replicate it per your industry, per your business, per your workflows, the automations you want to set in place. So here's what I'm gonna do. I wanna open up the floor to Q&A. I also wanna open it up to feedback for the bonus episode that we're gonna do. I'm gonna start running this for client work very soon. I'm gonna start working out of this almost every day. But I want your feedback. I want feedback of anything I might have missed, anything that could be covered in the bonus episode. And additionally, like, thumbs up or thumbs down. Did you guys like this? This was my first boot camp ever. We did it live. We learned together. I enjoyed this process, but the floor is open to the community now. Now dump the code. I'll have to create a snapshot of this moment in time before I start adding client work to it. Maybe. That defeats the whole purpose of people following along the boot camp, though. You know what I mean? Like, that defeats the whole purpose. Follow the boot camp. Rebuild it yourself. I know you're probably joking, right? Because you've been here long enough to know how I feel about dumping code and just giving code bases out. Hotkeys just make sense and become, okay, listen, I'm going to look into that and I'll get back to you on future live streams. Thank you. Maybe these hotkeys will make more sense to me in the present moment than they did 10 years ago. Hey, great to hear, Quad. Thank you for your feedback. Hey, thank you, Pokemon. I appreciate this. I appreciate it a lot. Right here. Yeah, and you learn so much more. You learn so much more about how this works. I think that's like the key point I wanted to get across with this bootcamp. It's not just about building what we're building. It's learning about how to utilize OpenClaw to build something for you, right? Because I'm sure everyone here has their own unique ideas that pop into their head as they're following along, as they're actually building and trying, right? I don't think that your first build is going to be a keeper. I'd be shocked if it is. If it is, prove me wrong. DM me, reach out. Let me know that your first build was a keeper. I guarantee you it won't be though, but that's not the purpose of this. The purpose is not to one-shot it. It's to learn, it's to experiment. It's to then learn how to apply those learnings and findings to a newer build, more finely tuned, per your industry, per your workflows, per your automations, per your specific requirements, right? Don't give a man a fish to eat. Teach him how to fish. Honestly, got a lot of nuggets from your streams. Glad to hear it. Thank you. Thank you. This was my hope right here. And I want to like think carefully about what I just wanted to say. It's like, listen, I get that a lot of people just want the code, but to me, I might offend some people here. That just shows how lazy you are, right? If you don't want to try to build the thing, like your intentions are, how do I say this nicely and thoughtfully? It's tough to gauge where your intentions are at, right? Like this stuff isn't easy. It's not quick. Anybody telling you it is, honestly, is just misleading you, right? I'm here to show you the raw output, the raw step-by-step that I took to get to the end result, that I continue to discover bugs, as you saw throughout this boot camp, right? Now, mind you, I didn't work on it every day because I wanted to show everything on air, right? That's why midway through this boot camp and at the beginning of the boot camp, you know, for future boot camps, I had a realization that it has to be a sprint day by day. It has to be like an every other day or every day sprint. Because when we wait a week before things, right, and things break, like there's just too much downtime. So much happens in the space. So much happens in the industry that I think it's just more necessary just to do a sprint. So I promise you for future boot camps, I'm going to schedule my time accordingly to just do a 10-day sprint or a 5-day sprint rather than making you wait one per week, right? Was it the error that I just ran into live, Nabi? Right here. Yeah, the bootcamp is hard to follow until you start building your own, for sure. And I'm glad you discovered this. And for anybody watching this live or watching the recording, like, don't stress. Like, this stuff's not supposed to be that complicated. I tried to simplify it as much as possible. Stay tuned. I am launching this newer version of this website very soon. I will make sure that the bootcamp page is finely tuned with everything discussed. Yeah. Right now, I think it still shows on our live site. That's a preview for the new build. I think it's still a static build. Listen, I haven't prioritized this. Yeah, it still shows this. Just ignore this. Within a week from today, this is all going to be pushed to the newer tech stack. Okay, so I haven't been focused on production. I've been focused on this dev environment. But stay tuned. It's going to be updated very soon. And I'm going to make sure my agent Muddy goes through the curriculum, goes through every transcript. So 48 hours after a live stream is when I do the transcript automation, where I add the timestamps to this live stream. So stay tuned for that. Once that's done, I'm going to have Muddy go through the entire curriculum, cross-reference anything that was done during a live stream that's not on the curriculum, so that everything is there, right? Nice, nice. Yeah, listen, I think it's great to test. Always proceed with caution, right? With the discover, you know, with what they discovered with certain skills and stuff being malicious, always proceed with caution. Before you just blindly install something, have your agent cross-reference it, make sure it's not malicious. This is not me telling you not to do it, right? This is just me saying, take the necessary steps to ensure you're not downloading something malicious that's just going to take advantage of your code base and your API tokens down the road, right? That's all. Hey, I appreciate you for doing so. Thanks for being here. And yeah, listen, I want to thank each and every one of you. This has been a fun boot camp. As I mentioned at the beginning, there will be a bonus episode or two. Stay tuned for that. But this is technically the end. This is technically episode 5 of the 5-episode free mini-series. It's with a heavy heart that I say that I am going to have to paywall this series. I can't even do that to you guys. I can't. April Fools, happy April 1st. I can't even mess with you guys like that. I just can't. I can't. This will live for free forever on YouTube. All you got to do is go to Clearmud. I might change the structure of our homepage down the road, but if you go to view your channel, and you just scroll down, it will always be a playlist like this. And as you can see here, it will always live on YouTube, right? For free. I was in my mind, I was going to mess with you guys and like let it go until I see a lot of negativity in the comments, but I couldn't even do it. I can't do that to you. You guys have been awesome. Appreciate you, Stonesy. Yeah, that's why it's good to stay on top of things. It's good to keep your finger on the pulse, so to speak. Nah. Yeah. I think I even like teased it the week or two ago. I'm very bad with April Fools. Actually, I used to be very good, but the older I've gotten, the less I like tricking people. You know, I'd rather be honest and just upfront with you. So I couldn't even mess with you guys there. But yeah. I think I'm halfway there. Just need to talk more rather than type. Yeah. And that's, I discovered this too. At first I was typing a lot. And then the true unlock for me has just been talking to my agent's voice to text. That has been a game changer. It's increased my efficiency with building new features, with building out OpenClaw setups in general. Even doing client work now. Like I only type in emails essentially now. Or if I'm editing an article that my AI, my Muddy, or my sub-agent drafted up for me, but it's all based off of my voice and my profile and the way I communicate. So it's almost spot on now. So I find myself typing less and less and less. Now, I can still type with my eyes closed. I've been behind a keyboard since I was like 6 years old. So that's something I'll never forget. But the voice to text is a true unlock, even if you're, a typer first. Right? Or a native typer. I think you'll fall in love with the voice to text approach. So, but yeah, listen, I think it's dinner time here for me. We've been at it, 3.5 hours for episode 5, almost 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in live, for watching the recording. Thank you, Sharma. Thank you, NHO. Thank you for, it's 2 a.m. for you over there, right? Thank you for staying up late for these boot camps. Thank you, Quad. Thank you, Stonesy. I'm excited to do a comparison video with Midjourney and Google Flow at some point. Thank you, Pokemon. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Gob Izzy. Thank you, Derek, the OG. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Aquarius. And I can't keep scrolling up. My Social Ninja stream stops at that point in chat. I just want to thank each and every one of you individually. Thanks for making this bootcamp what it is. Thanks for helping the channel out. I'm looking forward to seeing you on future live streams. So we'll be back at it on Friday with our normal flow this week. Next week, it's going to be a little different, but I will stream Monday at the very least, just to let you know the schedule for the week. The one thing that won't change next week is our long forms. They will go live on Tuesday and Thursday without fail. So, okay, good call. I did drop 5 invites earlier, but let me drop another 5 right now. I think that's a good number. After 7 days, 5 uses, generate, bam, bam. Get in there. Get in there. Oh, okay, John. Hey, now I'll never forget this. That's funny. Forgive me if you told me this in past live streams. I try to remember everybody's names as best I can. I remember your PFP. I remembered your location, but for some reason it was always NHO in my mind. So thank you, John. Thanks for sharing. I'll never forget that. And yeah, listen, just thank you to everybody. Thanks for helping me make this channel what it is. I'm looking forward to many more boot camps, many more live streams. Listen, I'm just getting started here. This channel is a baby, but it is my future. I have big goals for Clearmud as a whole. And I look forward to continuing to provide value and improving this bootcamp structure as well. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody for tuning in, for making this what it is. And yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope you're having a great middle of the week. Go kill it the rest of the week. Don't forget to go touch some grass and step away from the computer when you can. Hit the beach, get some sand in your toes whenever possible. And hey, Aries, thank you. Appreciate it. Much love. And yeah, much love, everybody. I'll catch you on Friday's live stream. Tomorrow we will have a long form posted as per usual. But until then, happy building. Cheers.